Myanmar is still reeling from the 7.7 magnitude quake that struck it on the 20th of March. Till now, over 3,600 people are reported to be dead and more than 5,000 are injured. However, the woes of the people there continue. A fresh 5.5 magnitude aftershock has jolted the country today. The tremors were felt in Meiktila, a small city in central Myanmar. This lies halfway between Naypyidaw, the country's capital, and Mandalay, Myanmar's second largest city. We know that Myanmar lies on the convergence of multiple plates, the Indian plate, the Eurasian plate and the Sagaing Fault. Now we are seeing a sudden pattern of quakes in the country. So the larger question is, how dangerous is this? And if there are repeated earthquakes on the part of a particular plate, can we expect them in other areas as well? Dr. Naresh Kumar, seismologist, is joining us live from the Wadia Institute, Dehradun. Dr. Dheeraj Banerjee, geologist, is live with us. Dr. Vijay Kumar Joshi, former Director, Geological Survey of India, is joining us live. Anand Sharma, President, Indian Meteorological Society, is also joining the broadcast. Well, let me in fact get started with you first. In fact, on this big story, Dr. Joshi, what do you make of this? It's an extremely, of course, shocking incident that has happened once again, Dr. Joshi. And do you believe it is because that these are aftershocks that are natural, or is it happening again and again because of this Sagaing Plate, this Sagaing Fault, beg your pardon, which obviously is the reason why so many earthquakes are, being seen in this region?
Well, these are natural phenomena and these are aftershocks. First thing of that major earthquake which had taken place on 28th last month. And I will give you an example why such things are happening in a layman's language. Take a large vessel, put some wooden blocks in that and water. The blocks will float on that and boil it. You will soon see that the blocks are moving. Like that, the core of the earth has a powerhouse, sort of a dynamo, which is producing heat. And that heat makes the plates on the surface of the earth, on the crust of the earth, move. And because of the movement of those plates, these earthquakes are taking place. And Myanmar's situation is very tricky because of the so many small plates there which are moving. Similarly, there were earthquakes in Tajikistan also. So all these areas are, I will say the subsurface dynamo is more active in these areas. But don't confuse it with the volcanism as of now, because when there is stress in these plates, they start moving. And we have to be prepared for such movements anywhere, everywhere, and especially I am concerned about India and the Himalayan belt of India, where a lot of construction has taken place. So all those areas which are densely populated will be more affected by such earthquakes. There will be more casualties. So we have to, see how to best to prevent loss of life.
However, Dr. Naresh Kumar, is it rare though for aftershocks and, for future quakes to be of such a high intensity? Today's, earthquake, for instance, was 5.5 on the Richter scale.
Yes, it is natural. Actually, there was a mega earthquake 7.7 that occurred on 28th March. So after that, it is natural that aftershock will occur for this mega earthquake. So it will take maybe a few months. These aftershocks will be there because this is just as a readjustment of the rupture which has been occurred due to that major shock on 28th March. So that is the natural phenomena. Just if we can see that maybe about 40 aftershock have been occurred after 28 March, and the magnitude is more than 2.5. So these will take place, and if we see the other major earthquakes, even the Tibet earthquake which occurred in the January 25. Even there are now the aftershocks are occurring. So this is just as a natural phenomenon which is taking place as a readjustment, and that is in the Sagaing Fault. If we can see the occurrence of these earthquakes, the spatial locations or epicenter. So these are mainly on the Sagaing Fault is occurring, and the epicenters are mainly north-south. About 150 kilometer length of that Sagaing Fault is ruptured due to that main shock, and the aftershocks are occurring in that region.
Yes, absolutely. Anand Sharma, let me quickly draw you in here. Anand Sharma, do you believe these fresh quakes are a cause of concern, or do you believe it is only natural after a quake of such intensity to have them?
No, it's aftershocks, and generally aftershocks are lesser in magnitude as compared to the original one which happened on 28th of last month. So naturally these one be lesser. But then, because this is a area which lies on the fault line and it's prone to big earthquakes, so those big earthquakes cannot be ruled out. But when the big one will happen, which place it's going to strike, that is very difficult to predict. No one can predict earthquakes, but definitely the history tells that there's always a possibility, and definitely when you are in a earthquake prone region where you have earthquakes of even around 8 magnitude happening, so one should be prepared. Your building design should be such that it should be earthquake resistant buildings. And then people should also know how to react under such kind of conditions. Regular drills should be arranged for those people. But I doubt that kind of preparation they have in Myanmar and around surrounding region. So what is more important is that preparation. If you are prepared, you can handle any of the natural hazard. But that part I think is lacking. And as somebody said, it's not Myanmar, it's most of the developing countries where they have not following the proper building guidelines, be it Turkey, be it India, be it other region also. So definitely in future, the regions which are prone to big earthquakes are going to have a lot of loss of man and property.
Okay, let me in fact quickly take that to you as well, Dr. Naresh Kumar. Once again on these faults, what makes these Indian plate, Eurasian plate, Sagaing Fault so susceptible to quakes, and does then that make this entire region very high on the seismic activity index?
Yeah, actually, we have to understand this is just as a tectonic activity which takes place as Indian plate is moving toward north and Eurasian plate is moving towards south. So there is a collision in the Himalaya. Likewise, if we can go to Myanmar, then Myanmar is slipping just as a right lateral strike slip motion. The just as in the Sagaing Fault, the eastern part is moving toward the south and the western part is moving toward the north, and the motion is about 2 centimeter per year. So this motion which is creating the stress and strain in that region, then this is the phenomena the earthquakes occur. When there is a subsurface part which is not able to bear that stress due to this motion, then earthquake takes place. So this is the phenomena in all this tectonic plate. You can take Myanmar, you can take Himalaya, you can take the western part which is just as Bhuj and others. So all this, the Indian plate that is surrounded in the north, east and west. So that is, Indian plate is a huge plate that is moving. So that is the reason the earthquake occur, and it takes place. In the past there were the earthquake, now is occurring, and the future the earthquakes will be there. And so we have to learn how to live with these earthquakes. We should prepare and we should make the building, we should be the safe by these earthquakes, so that the preparation should be there in the future. And during earthquake also we should learn how to live in this region where we are the earthquake prone region. So we can understand that this is the one of the most seismically active region of the world that is there, and that we can say the Himalaya or other mountains which are built, that is built due to this tectonic activity, and these are the activities which are taking place, and due to the earthquake, and they slowly these mountains are built due to these processes. So earthquake will be there And as we are seeing that now there was a 5.5 aftershock is there. There may be few aftershocks in the past, but as the history we have seen the reoccurring of the same 7.7 earthquake in that region takes place very long. It takes place maybe 40, 50 years. But there will be the aftershock will be there, and it can go maybe one magnitude less. It can go a 6.5 magnitude can be there. So we should prepare, and there should be preparation so that if there is a aftershock about 6 or so, so that can cause some damage there, and already damage is occurred there. So that should be preparation should be done according to that.
Yes, Dr. Joshi, should we then brace for more quakes in the region? Should that be something that the local authority should be prepared for? Would you warn them of that?
Local authorities and the society both should be prepared anywhere in such areas which are prone to earthquakes. And earthquake prone areas have already been demarcated. And to some extent, a lot of microseismic zonation has also been done in certain areas. But as Dr. Naresh Kumar said, the building construction norms have to be religiously and strictly followed.
Yes. Does that mean then that even in this particular region, this specific region of Myanmar, there can be more quakes in the next week or 2 weeks itself?
Well, Myanmar should be prepared to expect, aftershocks. As far as a new earthquake, I can't predict whether there will be another major earthquake. It's rare. But aftershocks will be there, and they'll be there for quite some time.
Okay. Let me, I believe, join Dr. Dheeraj Banerjee, who's also joined us now back on the broadcast. Or Dr. Banerjee, if you're able to hear me now, what do you make of this fresh, quake in Myanmar? Do you believe it's just a natural aftershock of that original quake, or are these fresh earthquakes that are occurring? It was also very high on the Richter scale, almost 5.5, happening between the capital of Naypyidaw and Mandalay, which of course bore the brunt of the previous quake.
It's difficult for a geologist to say that whether it is a new shock or it is aftershock. It is the seismologist who can differentiate between the two. So to me, they all of them appear to be the aftershocks, and that aftershock may go on and go on for maybe for months. So Myanmar has to remain prepared, and Nepal have to remain prepared. Pakistan, where you had the 5.5 earthquake 2 days ago or yesterday, it is also all this region, the whole of the Himalayan region is prone to earthquake. And I don't know whether other two members, our Vijay Joshi and Naresh Kumarji, must have already told you that this is a earthquake prone zone, and it's well known. Everybody knows that the whole of the Himalayan zone, apart from the Ring of Fire zone, is an earthquake-prone zone, and they all live in a very highly seismic belt. So to have an earthquake in this region is nothing new or nothing surprising. But only thing that what we have to do, that we have to keep on educating people, keep on asking people that they should remain prepared for some emergency thing. Like everybody should have some medicines and some other things in hand. Keep it handy, so that if there's something happened, then they can at least survive for some time. Similarly, there are the most important thing which I just heard it, that Naresh Kumarji was telling, that building norms have to be strictly followed. And that is how, what do you mean by strictly followed? It means that every house, every flat which is more than 6 or 7 floor should be earthquake prone. The design should be there. The problem is that you have to have people who are trained for this. That means they have to be told how it has to be designed. Because what is happening? A stuck engineer comes and he's with a lot of degrees before him, and then he puts up his personal pad and say, "Oh, this building is safe. I have examined it." But let us see whether he is really trained out of that, whether he has got the knowledge of that. So for that, the government has to do something. The government has to see that these certified engineers should be trained specifically for the earthquakes.
Okay, let me in fact also then ask you about Anand Sharma, what kind of precautions should one take when one resides in a high seismic zone like the one that we're seeing, and also perhaps you can help explain to our viewers why this region is so susceptible to quakes. Which are these fault lines that sort of congregate there? Which are the plates which are which this region lies on, which makes it so susceptible to quakes? Mr. Sharma? Okay, I think we've lost him there. Why don't you take that, Dr. Joshi? What makes this region so susceptible to quakes? What are these fault lines, these these plates? Just help explain it to our viewers a bit more in detail.
I agree with your question. Partly it has been answered by Dr. Naresh Kumar.
Yes.
This region is constantly moving. Indian plate is moving under the Eurasian plate. And that constant collision, that creates lots of turmoil inside the earth. So now, as I gave you that example of wooden blocks on a boiling water surface, they keep on moving. Like that, this area is somewhat like that. So we have to think more better ways of saving people with better construction and better precautions and training people. Instead of scaring them, we have to train them. So there has to be a regular course. In Nepal, I am told that in the classrooms, they have every student has a flag on his table, on his desk. And when he goes to washroom, the flag, he puts down the flag. So the teacher knows in the event of an earthquake that such and such student has gone to the washroom. And rest of the students immediately duck inside their desk. This is the regular drill they are following. So that's how the drill has to be followed in earthquake-prone areas of India. And people have to be educated about it. And a lot has to be done about the construction quality. Not only India, even in Myanmar, countries like Myanmar also, Thailand also, everywhere, lots of training has to undergo. See, Japan, in case of Japan, so many earthquakes come there every day. But loss of life is very rare because they are fully trained for that, fully prepared for that. So instead of going into the causes of earthquake, we know that earthquakes will occur here. So we have to think in terms of having better, means of saving people. We have National NDRF here, we have great experts there, but that is for the part of post-earthquake mitigation. What about the pre-earthquake preparation? Are we prepared for that? So that we have to think and analyze and convey to the masses that we have to be prepared like this.
Okay, let me in fact quickly also now join Dr. Banerjee back onto the broadcast. Dr. Banerjee, what are now precautions which residents should take who reside in such high susceptible seismic zones? What are the precautions that residents should take? What are the SOPs that the administration should have? And what would be your advice to builders and architects?
You see, there are lots of booklets which have been prepared by the Seismological Center in Delhi, and even for the Wadi Institute, they have already issued. Those type of pamphlets should be distributed to almost every housing society or every household, especially in the region where the earthquakes are common. Like for example, Delhi and the whole region is an earthquake-prone zone. So, and especially they have very high-rise buildings here, especially near Noida and other places where there are buildings which are about 30 or even 35 stories. So those places people should have this type of pamphlet, the precaution which they should take. They should hang it in their door, on there in almost every room or outside the room everywhere. Then they should find a place where they should duck in, like getting a table or a bed, go under it, and rush out of their building. and should not use the elevator if they are in a high-rise building. But all these things are said and done. In precaution is very difficult. The person is staying in the 20th floor, and if he is asked that he should not use the elevator, what else he could do? He will take the stairs, and then it all depends upon his luck whether he survives or he doesn't survive. So these are some of the things which are essential from our part of it, that they should take precautions. But sometimes the precautions are only there for just for you can say sermon's sake, but actually doesn't help. Very rarely. What exactly Dr. Joshi just said, that in Japan, for example, they are having earthquake almost every day, like small earthquakes, 2.5, 3.5 earthquakes are very frequent everywhere. But you don't see any material loss. Not their multi-story building, 100-story buildings are not toppling. So why? Because the structural engineers have designed it in such a way that the building starts shaking along with the earth. So when the earth shakes, the building also shakes, therefore there is no toppling. So therefore this type of structural engineering has to be there in India or in other places, especially especially in Himalayan region, where people are constructing high-rise buildings.
Okay, let me in fact go back to Naresh Kumar then for a closing comment as well. On again, Dr. Naresh Kumar, could we expect more quakes? Would that be your warning? In the region, which could be tremors, aftershocks, further quakes, and what would be the SOPs that the administration should adopt regardless in such areas?
Yes, it is very important, and aftershocks will be there. You can take the Myanmar or you can take the Tibet region where there was the more than 7 magnitude earthquake, then we can expect the aftershocks. Although these will be less than the main shock, but these will be there. So we should take care. All the panelists, Banerjee sir has said, Joshi has said. So all these things have to be taken. Regarding India also, we should take the lesson from these earthquakes, Myanmar earthquake, Tibet earthquake, and as we have seen earlier also the Gorkha Nepal earthquake, or just we can say the Kashmir earthquake of 2005. So in Himalaya also we can expect the earthquake anytime it can occur, although it is difficult to predict there. And India has been divided into 4 seismic hazard zones, and we know now that where the high seismic activity is there, where the high earthquake prone zones are there. So always we should prepare about these, and just as panelists has said about the mock drill or whatever the building codes, or what are the precautions we have to take during the occurrence of the earthquake, after the occurrence of the earthquake, that has to be taken. All these SOP has been created by our institute, the National Center for Seismology, and I think all the seismic authorities of every country, I can say. So Myanmar also must have all these SOPs and precautions. So those should be followed by the people, and we should learn how to live with these earthquakes.
Okay, let me in fact leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion. It's time for a short break.